So you mean the physical network itself also need massive upgrade?
Massive upgrade, yes, because without massive upgradation of your physical infrastructure, you cannot offer services. And even you offer services, you cannot make revenue out of it. So why we always call, and I always a strong believer that B2B is a revenue growth engine. And tapping that revenue growth engine, or to capitalize that, or to leverage the benefits of that growth engine, you have to modernize your infrastructure. That's very important, because we are moving towards Internet of Everything to intelligent Internet of Everything, and that will be only the reality when your network is ready, all the way from access to the core. So correct me if I'm wrong on this.
I think absolutely it's a massive upgrade in terms of impact, but I would say it's better to be an incremental upgrade, because already we're connecting a huge amount of consumer gadgets. But for the next phase, enterprise are looking at digitization, not just in the office space, but also in a lot of more mission critical application scenarios. Yeah, so I think we definitely need to enhance the capabilities of the networks. For example, how to optimize for latency, how to optimize for high reliability, right? Yeah.
And I think this, when you mention about the smart automation, I think that's one of the way that service provider can do the return on investment for the existing infrastructure. When I'm talking about modernization, so return on investment is another topic. So that can only be achieved by giving this type of services.
So I think you mentioned AI ops as a service. How are we progressing in terms of the technology? What is the current let's say capability maturity level in this kind of AI assisted network automation?
Yes, I think that's a very hot topic in the industry there. So when we talk about AI and using AI as a service, we call it AI ops. So how we can remotely manage and help, especially for the SMEs, can we discuss the thing that they don't have the resources to let them mind free or worry free that we can manage your networks remotely and we can taking care for all the troubleshooting. That's save your cost, and then at the end you can just focus on your enterprise service business. Similarly for the medium enterprises, when they have a mission to going towards cloud, so we can remotely manage their network. And for the smart automation, when we talk about smart automation, is smart factories, healthcare, shipping, and all that the industry. So AI, what my expectation is, we need to move towards completely autonomous driven network, L5.
L5, everything automated.
Everything is automated. I know that industry is talking about L4, but I think that stage still yet to achieve, because we're still standing on the borders of L3 for the conditional autonomous of the system, right? So conditional automation is the thing that we left behind now, and then move forward to L5, it's an autonomous driven network where we can leverage the machine learning, and then on top of AI ops, and manage end-to-end network. Either is a campus network, the managed LAN, is any security threats. So everything should be AI enabled, and I think that tailwind will lead the service provider towards some success.
Automation is definitely important. What about bandwidth? What about new routing capabilities?
I think when you talk about bandwidth is always in hot demand. So I remember sometime we're only looking for a megabit per second, but now we're looking for terabit or petabit level per second. So bandwidth, as you mentioned before, is an incremental increase. And incremental, when we talk about, is increment on the access, increment on the metro aggregation, or we call it the cloud metro sort of thing, and then all the way towards the core. So when we talk about access, it should be 50 gig to the site at least now.
So by what time, like 2030 or 25?
I can expect like 2025 or plus. The next uplift of this next generation IP infrastructure need 50 gig to the cell site. But this is the right time to start. We don't need to make it pending for 2025. Service providers need to think now to do the upgrade based on the different services, different service requirements, different VIP users, VIP sites, and then all the way towards a massive level. For the metro side, they need 100G, but now moving towards 400 gig.
400G is
Yeah,
mainstream now.
yeah, mainstream. And why 400G is a mainstream? Again, I need your input as well, because when we're talking about metaverse, are we ready for that or not? When we talk about smart factory, smart automation, are we ready for that or not? 100 gig for them is like nothing, right? So they need a massive flow of traffic. So metro is the aggregation point, and then the last increment is the core. How we can make it 800G with the green footprints, with the less more power savings and energy efficient core. With 800 gig can throw all the traffic towards the out of the network to the other network and connect it. So say in simple words, incremental, I really like the word that you mentioned, is incremental is very important. And then you talk about the routing, for sure. I mean, I am a strong believer of SRv6. The reason behind this is people always talking from long that we go for SRv4 or V6, but yeah, we already know, and I think you know better than me, that V4 we are limited with the choice now. So why not V6 control plane, and we all the way segment routing from access all the way towards core, where service provider have a more better control on the network.
Yeah. I also noticed that in the standard bodies,
Yes.
there are more IoT activity going on between the main vendors. I do see some progress in terms of IoT for in ITF for SRv6, and I heard there be some multi-vendor IoT test to make sure that SRv6 will work seamlessly between different vendors.
Yes, seamless working for SRv6, and in standard now we call it IPE, IPv6 enhanced. So how we can do the seamless working of SRv6 with the combination of IPv6 from end to end. And we program our network, we program our packets. Now it's time for us to decide where the packet goes, not the packet itself decide in a network on how many hops we need to stop. So it should be very much source agnostic all the way towards a destination. And I think this type of incremental upgradation, modernization, or evolution of existing IP network is very important. And on top of it, just want to add quick add on it that last year I wrote a Net 5.5G white paper as a blueprint or technology holy book, that how we can move the evolution of evolution in IP, right? It's not revolutionizing the IP, but it's basically tells you the next step in IP. So next step in existing IP is becoming an intelligent IP. And when we talk about intelligent IP in easy words, is basically Internet of Everything to intelligent Internet of Everything, as you mentioned about IoT in different factories. So I don't know you agree with me or not on intelligent IP, but I am strong believer that intelligent IP really boosts the new growth for the service providers.
Yeah, I think only if you can, if you want to be able to serve different vertical application scenarios for unmanned vehicles, for all those kind of new application scenarios, the traditional plain vanilla capability is no longer sufficient. It has to be more intelligent IP.
So you mean that is for existing service scenarios or the emerging service scenarios?
Yeah.
When you talk about vanilla level, right? So I mean, like for existing services, how much we are ready, and for commercial application in the emerging sector or the mission critical, how this intelligent IP can work through.
Yeah, especially.
Yes. So
I think the traditional plain vanilla, we still need the plain vanilla ice cream, but we also need some new application scenarios, because telco can find new growth opportunities. Of course, one side is digital network MSP for managed service revenue, but also how to get into more mission critical application revenue, serving those scenarios will require a more robust, more reliable, and also a more intelligent IP network.
So you mean that application-driven programming can only be possible with IPv6 plus SRv6? Application-driven.
Yeah. I think in the long term, it's better to have highly automated application programmed network. But again, as you said, it's incremental development. For the moment, I think what we can do is to use algorithms to optimize the routing so that we can always deliver lower latency for those mission critical applications, right? So this is at least something we can do immediately.